The Resident Evil franchise has a huge cast of beloved characters, but we've stepped into the boots of Chris Redfield more than anyone else in the main entries. From his origins as a survivor of the infamous mansion incident to his larger-than-life role in Resident Evil 6, Chris has changed dramatically over the series' 20-year history. Resident Evil fans first got a glimpse of Chris via the original PlayStation game's bizarre box art. That contorted appearance was a far cry from both Chris's live-action portrayal and character model in the original game. The former Air Force pilot's skills helped him earn a position in Raccoon City's STARS team, serving under the leadership of his traitorous captain, Albert Wesker. Chris's STARS uniform, in both the PlayStation original and remake, featured a utilitarian olive-green color and quick access to his shoulder-strapped combat knife. Chris would need more than just that knife to survive the zombie-infested Spencer Mansion and escape to safety with his teammates, including his partner, Jill Valentine. Chris wouldn't return until Resident Evil Code Veronica, when he traveled to Umbrella's Rockford Island facility to rescue his imprisoned sister, Claire. How she got there is another story entirely. The former STARS member heroically scaled a seaside cliff wearing a slightly different version of his uniform, swapping out his green tactical vest for a slick black variation. In a surprise twist, Chris discovered Wesker didn't die back at the mansion, and was instead imbued with mysterious superhuman powers and intense hatred for his former teammate. Wesker gave Chris a brief taste of his new power, while also letting him know that Claire had escaped to Umbrella's Antarctic base. Chris located Claire in a bizarre replica of the Spencer Mansion, defeated the mutated Alexia Ashford, and had one more showdown with Wesker before using his piloting skills to escape the exploding facility. A decade passed between the events of Code Veronica and Chris's return in Resident Evil 5, but the series' icon was no slouch during his break. Chris's new anti-bioterror employer, the BSAA, must have had a way better gym than STARS because Mr. Redfield got jacked. His burly return came with a lighter wardrobe update suitable for his adventures across Kajuju, Africa. Chris traveled to Kajuju not only to contain a deadly Plagas outbreak, but also to follow a lead on the whereabouts of his missing partner, Jill. Miss Valentine was presumed dead after a dramatic encounter with Wesker at the estate of Oswald Spencer, a co-founder of Umbrella. Sheva Alomar, a fellow BSAA agent, stood in as Chris's partner for Resident Evil 5, where the duo blasted through hordes of infected citizens and monsters created with Wesker's new Ouroboros virus. Eventually, Chris and Sheva encountered Jill, who was being mind-controlled by Wesker via a device attached to her chest. The duo managed to rescue Jill after some impromptu, mandatory surgery and chased after Wesker. The story of Resident Evil 5 ultimately concludes inside an active volcano after Chris and Sheva foil Wesker's plans to globally saturate the world with the Ouroboros virus. Despite Wesker infecting himself with the chaotic yet powerful virus, Chris and Sheva survive his last stand. Also worth noting, Chris punched a boulder. Jill shows up just in time to provide a quick escape and a couple rocket launchers for Chris to finish off his longtime nemesis with spectacular flair. If taking down Wesker was a career high point for Chris, we find him at rock bottom when Resident Evil 6 begins. Chris's former BSAA partner, Piers Nivens, discovered the hero in a European pub, drunk, alone, and suffering from a bad case of amnesia. Chris lost his memory after a failed mission resulted in the death of his comrades, seemingly due to sabotage by notorious spy Ada Wong. Piers convinced Chris to shrug off his apathetic slump, and he rejoined the BSAA with renewed passion to stop Ada and the spread of the C-virus throughout China. This time, Chris dropped all subtlety and dressed in full-on military gear, appropriate attire given the amount of deadly Dravo he had to take out. During Chris's action-packed hunt for Ada, who was actually an evil doppelganger named Carla Radames, he finally met Leon face-to-face for the first time in the series. It was kinda tense. Chris's thirst to bring Carla to justice was denied when a shady organization took her out first. This freed up time for the duo to go save their allies, Sherry Birkin and Jake Muller, who were captured and transported to an elaborate underwater facility. By the way, Jake just happened to be the son of the evil madman Chris killed in the volcano. After a successful rescue, Chris and Piers defeated a tremendous monster created by Carla. Sadly, Piers needed to infect himself with the C-virus in order to survive the fight. Piers heroically sacrificed himself to save Chris, who is bereaved by the loss of yet another brother in arms under his watch. Chris escapes to safety and continues serving the BSAA as a leader, living to fight against bioterror another day. Thanks for watching, everyone. For more on the Resident Evil series, be sure to subscribe to this channel, follow us on Twitter at RE_games, and like the Resident Evil Facebook page.